This is because it seems the Prime Minister is leaving. Prime Minister is leaving for Israel on his way. These are the shots that are coming in. It's a historic visit that we are expecting today. The first Indian Prime Minister to make a visit to Israel would also practically mark a new phase where the foreign policy towards Israel is concerned. All right, we're going to get you the latest there. The Indian Prime Minister leaving for Israel will mark a historic new beginning, a new chapter there, especially where foreign policy is concerned vis-a-vis India and Israel. All right, that's the latest that we're getting in. We're going to take our viewers through the itinerary of the Prime Minister. He's expected to land at Tel Aviv, where he would be accorded a red carpet welcome by the Prime Minister, his counterpart from Israel. There are reason enough that why this visit is actually being looked on as historic, as something which is extremely bold. He's the first Indian Prime Minister to do so. The grounds were laid when the Indian President visited Israel, but that just showed intent. And now that intent being given true motive by the Indian Prime Minister, he would be making his way to Israel. Various issues that would come up for discussions over the next couple of days. Glossy headlines, defense deals, agriculture, irrigation, terror would, of course, mark headlines across all newspapers in both countries. But one big development would be a massive public shift, a very bold shift, where India's foreign policy vis-a-vis Israel is concerned. Many would contend that till now it seemed that India, behind closed door, had a courtship going on with Israel. This is the first time we'd seen a public move in that sphere. I want to connect to Geeta Mohan, Ministry of External Affairs editor, our Foreign Affairs editor. Geeta, will you talk us through on the importance of this visit and most importantly, what are we expecting in terms of the Prime Minister's itinerary today, day one?
Well, it is a historic visit. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to Israel is going to be one that takes not just the ties forward, but also in terms of the focus of Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the Modi administration and its foreign policy towards various aspects, whether if it is tackling terrorism, the defense cooperation between the two countries, as also how to take forward economic aspects. There have been issues regarding the first visit of our Prime Minister of India to Israel and the fact that Palestine is not a place where he would be visiting, and there have been issues regarding whether if there is going to be a shift or if there is a shift. That isn't the case, is what the Indian administration clearly is saying. The focus is to have the first visit of the Prime Minister of India to Israel only to focus on the huge defense cooperation, security cooperation, given the threat of ISIS and extremism in West Asia. To counter those threats is the reason why Prime Minister Narendra Modi is focusing on this very important visit. We do know that he is going to arrive as he leaves for Tel Aviv. He will be reaching Tel Aviv later this evening, and then from there on going to Jerusalem as well. A very important aspect of the entire visit is also going to be an emotional connection, an emotional one of how Israel and India both are fighting terrorism. 26/11 is a grim reminder to India as to how India needs to be prepared for any untoward incident or action from extremist organizations. And as much as India suffered, so did Israelis who were living in India. Baby Moshe, the little kid who lost his parents in that 26/11 attack, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is going to meet with him and the reassurance, and it's not just about optics, the reassurance of how both the countries are going to come together in this, in not just seeking friendship of these two powerful allies, but also how to counter terrorism and how to enhance defense cooperation at a time when India is struggling as much as Israel is and fighting terrorism. There is going to be huge aspect of agriculture and agro sector cooperation between India and Israel. Israel is known for the kind of agricultural technology that it possesses. given it's a small land, it's a small country, but yet does very well when it comes to agriculture, as also the military equipment that India wants as an advanced military equipment to the customer of Israel. It is going to be a prized customer who is really visiting Israel. And we do know the kind of camaraderie and rapport that Israel and India enjoy under the leadership of Benjamin Netanyahu as also Prime Minister Narendra Modi. That friendship will see a further boost with this 3-day trip to Israel by Prime Minister Modi.
How much does it also point to this visit, the first Indian Prime Minister to make a visit to Israel, of an altered geopolitical reality which we see where the country is concerned vis-a-vis Pakistan?
Well, there is a huge geopolitical aspect to this entire visit, Preeti. And you're rightly pointing out, vis-a-vis Pakistan, the stand of Israel has always been one that that shows India and Israel to be on the same page. And in that fight against terrorism, in that fight against extremism, Israel has suffered gravely at the hands of extremist organizations in its own country and across the border, as also India has from across the border. And in that, both countries are going to stand together, united. There is going to be, expect a very strong statement on terrorism coming in the joint statement. This comes only a week after Prime Minister Narendra Modi and President Trump, Preeti, had that very crucial statement on terrorism in the joint statement, not just designation of Syed Salahuddin done by State Department, but the fact that he figured in the joint statement was crucial for India. Now we're seeing Israel, which is also a crucial partner of the United States of America, as also of India. Again, this entire meeting is going to be historic. It's the first Indian Prime Minister to do so, visit the state of Israel, and expect a very strong statement on the neighborhood, on extremism emanating from neighborhood, and on state-sponsored terrorism.
You know, Geeta, it was also important somewhere down the line for India to come out and embrace Israel the way it has been. And, you know, the last decade has possibly paved the way for that. Because, you know, let's just look at in terms of defense. India is the biggest buyer where Israel comes into question. Israel is the third biggest supplier where India comes into being. The very fact that, you know, Israel has always offered and has been ready to sell to India the latest technology where arms and defense deals are concerned, which not other nations like Russia or, you know, America actually does so.
Well, that's right. It's the military connection, the connection of how not just about being a customer of Israel or wanting high-end equipment, military equipment from Israel, but it's also about the sacrifices and the kind of cooperation and oneness that Israel and India have felt in the past. On Thursday, the two leaders are going to take a helicopter, Preeti, and fly to Haifa, where Prime Minister Modi is going to unveil a plaque in memory of Indian soldiers in Haifa. That is the kind of importance. And remember, just ahead of Prime Minister's visit to Israel a month ago, the Teen Murti Marg was going to be renamed as the Haifa, the memorial, that there was going to be a Haifa memorial in that Teen Murti Marg is crucial and shows the kind of importance Prime Minister Narendra Modi attaches to the sacrifices and to the kind of contribution India has had in Israel or towards Israel. And that certainly is going to be re-emphasized with this important visit. Also, Prime Minister Netanyahu, in his speech to the cabinet yesterday, very specifically not just welcomed Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Preeti, but also spoke of the contribution that India has had and the fact that he himself will be accompanying Prime Minister Narendra Modi in most of the events that befit the leader of the world's largest democracy. That's the kind of importance that Benjamin Netanyahu is attaching to Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to Israel. A lot of work has been done. A lot of preparations were made for Prime Minister to visit Israel. This was a long-awaited visit of the Prime Minister. Israel had hoped that after Prime Minister Narendra Modi took office, that Israel would be one of the first countries that Prime Minister Narendra Modi would visit. But again, going back to geopolitics, it was geopolitics
right.
that the reason why Prime Minister Narendra Modi could not make it to Israel or could not make Israel as one of his first countries, one of the first countries to have visited. But finally, it has come through, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi is making the first visit to Israel.
All right. Appreciate you joining us, Geeta. We're going to keep coming back to you through the course of the next couple of days. A big visit, historic, would not be an understatement. We're going to continue tracking the details. My colleague Padmaja would be also getting us the live updates.